Hello and welcome to the channel. Welcome here in Umoja. Oh my, it's been a while. I have to say I'm very happy to pick up the camera and talk to you guys. How have you guys been? I think it's been about 3 weeks since we last spoke. I hope that you guys have been keeping well, keeping on, yeah, doing your best to move forward. Right now, I'm headed to buy breakfast. I discovered a new nduma place. And then I'll get a bit of milk. Then head back to the house and make breakfast. Try that nduma, chew it. The other thing is in today's video, of course, I'm going to be giving you guys sort of a life update. What I've been up to. We've had progress in the court matters, both court matters, so the appeal in the High Court as well as the defamation matters in the Chief Magistrate's Court. I'll let you know where we are with those. And then we'll also talk about the upcoming Kenyan road trip and the route, which I already mentioned. And I'm hoping that the next video from this one will be me setting off. And then because I feel that we don't laugh as hard as we work, I'll share with you guys one or two stories. I'll find, a way to put in a few stories in the video as well. If we laughed half as hard as we work, we would be very happy people. So that is what is in today's video. Walk with me. Let's go and grab some nduma and make breakfast.
This old habit's got a hold on me, won't let go of me.
Here is the nduma place I'm talking about. One-stop food. Bro, mambo. Nilikwambia nitarudi. Mimi sasa nataka nduma. Nduma. My nduma has arrived, so let's go make breakfast.
Grip on me, won't set me free, won't leave me be. I can shake it, I can break it, I can get away from you, you pull me in. I can shake it, I can break it, I can get away from you, you pull me in. You pull me in. You pull me in. You pull me in.
Welcome to breakfast, guys. You have to do these things in the proper order. So let me start with this very delicious looking watermelon to whet the appetite. And then we will chew the nduma to fill the corners. You know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness. Fantastic. Fantastic. Let me tell you guys a story. It's been a while since I told you guys a story. It is this watermelon that is sort of transporting me and taking me back. Sometimes in life you notice certain patterns that repeat themselves. And it has been said that if you study these patterns properly, you can sort of figure out how your life is going to align, or rather in which pipeline you should proceed. They say that in the journey of self-discovery, you sort of like go in circles, but the radius of the circle sort of keeps reducing until you land on that which you're supposed to do. And now that I think about it, I sort of see a pattern of negotiation in my life. Even in those early years, those formative years, there was a lot of negotiation going on in my life. And I think this is relevant even today because I do a lot of negotiation. Every job I take on is different from the last. I have to negotiate afresh. You guys know the jobs that I do. And this negotiation didn't start yesterday. When I was very young, growing up, a bit of negotiation was present in my life. And this is how it played out. We had a menu of meals that we were, of course, supposed to take. And so, I knew what was on the menu from Monday to Sunday. No meal was a surprise. I knew what was on the menu from Monday breakfast to Sunday supper. And I feel that this is one of the blessings that we take for granted, is that right now I'm able to, in a large way, decide I'm going to have this meal, I'm going to have this meal, but I digress. So how did the negotiation play out? Monday suppers were ugali and white cabbage. So the ugali was white and the cabbage was white. We looked at it and all of us in one accord would say, this cabbage is too white. And to the last person, we did not like it. We never enjoyed those Monday suppers. It was difficult to enjoy that supper. The amalgamation of white ugali and white cabbage was such that it would refuse to go down your throat. What happened is your cheeks would sort of, swell. But the amalgamation of white cabbage and white ugali would refuse to go down your throat. It was a struggle. So what did we do? There was a gentleman, one of the boys called John. John had a big appetite, and so enters the negotiation. The thing was, you are not allowed to leave the table before finishing your meal. And like we've already established, having this ugali and white cabbage was not very easy. We struggled a lot with it. What are you to do in the face of white ugali and white cabbage? This woman is too sweet. Those of you who are not quite familiar with my story would struggle to understand what I'm talking about. Now, very briefly, I grew up in an institution, in a children's home. So 10 boys, 10 girls, from 2001 to 2012. So a big part of my life. And I have very many stories from that place. So, here's the thing. John had a big appetite. Alright? And so if you struggled with your cabbage and ugali, you would look at John, These were black market deals. Under the table deals. It wasn't supposed to happen, but you'd look at John and signal him, You would either kick his leg under the table, or whisper, chop, chop, chop. Grab his attention. And John would look up from his plate and look up at you. And you'd tell him, you'd signal him, you'd do this. or this meant half, and this meant one. And what am I talking about? What are these fractions and numbers? The thing was, Wednesday supper was chapati and green grams. It was our favorite meal of the week. 2 chapati and a plate of green grams. And the deal was, if John would help you finish your plate of cabbage and ugali, then depending on the portion of the meal that was left on your plate, of course, you would agree with John in an under the table deal whether come Wednesday you'd give him half of your chapati or 1 chapati. Remember, each of us was given 2 chapatis and a plate of green grams. So depending on your meal, you'd negotiate. Sometimes you start with a quarter. You tell him, takukatia. Takukatia for you. Takukatia. That's like a quarter, eh? John would say, no. That portion, it signaled that portion requires 1 chapati. You say, no. Because of course, come Wednesday, you also want to have a good time. You want to chew as much chapati as you can. But the present situation is such that you're not able to leave the table because you still have a lot of white cabbage and ugali on the plate. But then you negotiate and arrive at a solution, arrive at an agreement, meet in the middle. So one time, Stephen really struggled with his plate of cabbage and ugali. And so he grabbed John's attention. John. John looked up and Stephen said, Stephen himself volunteered sacrificially. Stephen sacrificed his 1 chapati all by himself. No one forced him to do that. Here's what you need to understand. Stephen was in a difficult situation. There was no way for him to finish his cabbage and his ugali. And so he told John, help me have this and finish it. Come Wednesday, I'll give you 1 chapati. John looked at him and said, all right then, I'll help you. John agreed. John, being an expert of dealing with the very difficult to deal with ugali and cabbage, accepted to do so, accepted to help Stephen. And so Stephen, portioned out the remaining part of his food to John under the table, of course, like that, very quickly. And then remained with 1 othonje. An othonje is a portion of a meal that you can grab in sort of a feast. So, of course, you want to show that you are doing something. So you do not give John everything. You leave an othonje in your plate. And so Steve left an othonje, grabbed that othonje, ate it, and then stood up with his plate and took it to the kitchen. He had finished his meal. And John was left with Stephen's portion, and John struggled. And the reason John struggled like this is because he was looking forward to a beautiful chapati on Wednesday, And so he accepted the present struggles for the future reward. So John struggled and finished. And that was that. Monday night went by. Tuesday went by. Wednesday came around. On Wednesday we had a football match. We played a lot of football. Stephen was one of our very good strikers. And so he played. The reason I bring this football match into the story is for you to understand that come when is the supper time, we were so tired and so hungry and so looking forward to Wednesday's meal, Wednesday's supper. But the thing is, from around 3 p.m. Wednesday afternoon, when the preparations of course started, the smells of cooking chapati would tantalize you, and you know, in your mind all you could think about is supper time, and you know, those chapatis landing on your plate, and you with your very big smile going to chewing this chapati. So supper time came, and of course we were summoned to have supper. John, knowing that it was time to get a reward for his sacrifice, very quickly located Stephen, made sure that he was behind Stephen in the line. So as Stephen would walk up to, you know, the serving station, John would remind him, Steve, kumbuka dili yetu, kumbuka dili yetu. Steve would nod his head in the affirmative. So John was reassured. Stephen went and, you know, had his supper served to him. He proceeded to the dining table. And of course, John also was served and proceeded to the dining table and made sure that he sat opposite Stephen so that he could look him in the eye and remind him of their deal. But here comes the deep water. Here comes the the interesting part. When Stephen landed on the dining table this fateful Wednesday evening, he proceeded to chew his chapati methodically, you know, all the while trying as hard as he could not to make eye contact with John. And so what he would do is he would eyeball his plate, like this, the entire supper time, eyeballing his plate of chapati and green grams while methodically distracting and disintegrating his chapati. And so, you know, this is what Steve got up to that Wednesday evening. He was like, you know, just deconstructing his chapati. John could not believe this betrayal. So John could not believe this betrayal. So John tried as hard as he could. John tried as hard as he could to get Steve's attention under the table. You know, he tried to kick Steve's leg. Steve! Steve refused to acknowledge John or even make eye contact. And the more the chapati on Steve's plate, you know, sort of diminished by way of Steve deconstructing it, the more you could see that John was coming to a grudging acceptance of his situation. John was like, all right then, okay. Because here is what John knew. John knew, as sure as the rain, as sure as the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, John knew that the days would go by and Monday would come again. And Steve would struggle once again with his white ugali and white cabbage. John knew this. And for the remainder of our time in that children's home, Steve had to chew his white cabbage all by himself. No matter how much he tried to convince John to help him finish his portion on those fateful Monday supper times, John refused. So I've set out from the house. What I want to do is just head to the gym to lift some heavy metals. But before that, I've noticed that I'm running on fumes. So I want to go to a petrol station and top up. Shell petrol station right about here. Right.
Hi guys, subscribe to the channel bro.
Kabisa. Nimeingia hapa bana ni fuel kiasi. Ndio niendelee na hii maneno.
Sawa, they have an offer on V-Power.
Oh, they do?
Yes.
Oh, wacha nione.
Same price as the normal petrol.
Oh.
Yeah.
Asante. It seems the petrol station has an offer on V-Power, so that is what we are going to get. V-Power, for those of you that don't know, is higher octane fuel. So it's a higher performance fuel than the usual. And these people have an offer. So that is what we are going to get. That is fueling done, because these people have an offer on that V-Power fuel. I thought I'd take advantage and add 1,000 Kenyan shillings worth of extra fuel on my original budget of 2K. So I've done 3,000 and we're back to about half tank of fuel. Yeah. Hopefully, now that the war with Iran is ended, hopefully the prices of fuel will stabilize. Let's head to the gym. Is it a normal day in Nairobi if someone doesn't overlap? It has to happen. I don't know. I don't know who told Kenyan drivers that overlapping helps you arrive faster to your destination. Actually, overlapping causes more traffic, so you're better off just sticking in your lane. We can do better. Another guy is also coming behind me, overlapping. And this is Kagundo Road. You guys know what happened to me on Kagundo Road because of these overlapping tendencies.
In my head, I was invited. I get excited when nobody knows me. In my head, you're on the outside. I'm better when I shine. The crystals inside me. In my head. In my head, you're on the outside. I'm better when I shine. The crystals inside me. In my head.
that was the gym. That was a good workout. So right now I'm headed back to the house to shower and get a bit of work done. Later on I think we'll head to Ruiru. We'll head to Ruiru. You remember when I started the first stretch of the Kenyan road trip? We went to Ruiru, to a very quiet, beautiful place with a pond and very beautiful green grass. Yeah, so I think we will head back to that place and discuss the second stretch of the Kenyan road trip and also a few updates about what has been going on. Okay, so let me shower and then I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Ladies and gents, I've had a shower, I've been doing some work, and I've decided that before we go to Ruiru, let me update you on the court issues, and then we can go to Ruiru and discuss the upcoming stretch of the Kenyan road trip. So, as you guys are aware, we have two matters in the courts. I'll start with the appeal in the High Court. You guys remember the small claims court matter, which was decided in my favor, and which the other parties appealed in the High Court, and we've been doing mentions. I think the latest with regards to that matter is we filed final submissions, and we'll be having a mention on the 2nd of July. I'm thinking on this mention date, the court will confirm that both parties have filed final submissions, and then we will be given a ruling date. On the other hand, we also have the defamation matters. So you guys are aware that there are two files, two defamation matters that have been merged into one suit. And of course, as you guys are aware, we had a hearing on 17th of this month, which is about 2 days ago. Is it? Yeah, 2 days ago. And it was a learning experience. Yeah, I've never had a hearing before in my life, so it was a good learning experience. So, I have a few pictures here, let me show you. On 16th, a day to the hearing, I went to see my lawyer, Mr. Georgiadis Majimbo, in his office, of course, to prepare for the hearing. Being an advocate or a lawyer is not easy. The files are quite massive, and Mr. Majimbo has to go through all the files for all his clients and be up to date and have those matters on his fingertips. My goodness, it's not easy. But what I really appreciated was the personal touch, that Mr. Majimbo took the whole of his afternoon. Actually, we started our meeting at around 1 all the way to about 6:30 in the evening, just going through our matter and preparing for the hearing. And it was a good time, It was a beautiful time. What that resulted into is that I felt very confident going to the hearing the next day. So we did the hearing at Milimani Law Courts in the judge's chamber, and we went there and presented our case and finished that. So then we will have another hearing on 6th of August, which is about a month away, and the other parties will present their case on that day. So that was the hearing. Good learning experience, and I'm so happy that Mr. Majimbo was there with me. I felt so confident. Alright, and then I have a few images after we left the hearing. Let me show you those images. Yeah? Look at those images. I had my suit on. You guys remember my suit that I bought in 2024? I was looking very dapper, very sharp. And something else I'm going to tell you is Mr. Majimbo now has his own practice. I'm sure you can see it in the picture. It is called M&G Advocates. I'll show you guys where it is. You guys can walk in, you'll find the secretary there, you know, book an appointment if you have legal matters that you wish Mr. Majimbo to handle, of course. You can give him a call and book an appointment, and you will be very pleased. He's a very serious guy, a very competent lawyer. But look at these images. We were looking very good. I got to tell you, I'm telling you. I've never looked this good before, have I? Look at that suit, I'm telling you. Let's head to Ruiru. We have a few things to test. The first of which is I've set my trip computer to 0 so that we're able to see if the V-Power fuel that we put in the car a bit earlier performs any better. We are going to see the numbers that we get in terms of fuel consumption. The other thing is I'm using a software called Waze. You guys have heard about the speed cameras that have been implemented along major roads of Nairobi, and Thika Superhighway, which is what I'm going to use, is one of them. So we're going to see if Waze helps me, keep within the stipulated speed limits. I saw recently news of a certain lady that was fined 20,000 in one day. 20,000. What do you mean? That's 2 months of my rent in one day. Oh my goodness. So yeah, let's see how Waze helps me. Right? Let's see if Waze helps keep within the speed limits.
Where did the time go? How do we move so far away? Holding on.
Now take the first exit onto C59 towards Thika Road, A2. Speed camera ahead.
Oh, really? This Waze software is already telling me if there's a speed camera. I don't know if you guys are able to see that. It's even giving me the distance. And really, there is a speed camera. So that's good.
How much can we both take when love is an echo? I can't hear what you're saying when love is an echo.
Guys, I'm on Outer Ring Road, headed to All Soaps, and then I'll take the Thika Superhighway to Ruiru. Already I feel a difference in the performance of IOT. The car feels a bit more sprite, a bit more responsive. This V-Power is very good. Alright, Thika Superhighway, here we come. This is the place where if you're not careful, you may be fined many thousands of monies that you could have used for other useful things like buying a road runner, going on the second stretch of the Kenyan road trip. So you have to be very careful.
Keep right to Thika Road.
The highway is very crowded today, very crowded. But IOT is pulling well, IOT is pulling well. That's how you do it. Let's show this van that IOT is not its age mate. Yes, that's how you do it.
Holding on, how much can we
does the odometer say? We've done 22 kilometers so far and we're averaging 20.7 kilometers to the liter. That is beautiful. We're here. Let me stop a yacht somewhere here. This is a beautiful place. Beautiful place. Look at that pond or small lake, I'd call it. Beautiful, right? But let's stop somewhere here. Alright, somewhere here is absolutely perfect. I just made it to Ruiru. It's a very beautiful spot. It's different from the spot I was in last time. And because of that, I feel there's something I need to talk about. Something that is not very nice about some of us. You know, I used to think that most people were just well-meaning and, you know, just well-behaved. But I realize now that I've been very naive. The reason I'm in this spot, and this is a different spot from the one I was in last time, like I've said. It's a beautiful spot, look at it. Very beautiful man-made lake right over here. But the reason I'm here is because the place I was in last time, like I told you, it's private property. And even the place I am in right now is private property. But that last place has now been plowed. I'm thinking the owner was tired of people coming and littering that place. And he's plowed that entire area with a tractor, you know? And this new spot I've found, of course I'm not the first person to find it, but I got here and immediately noticed that it has been littered so badly, you know? I don't understand why some of us go out these very beautiful places and then you litter that place. I mean, what is going through your mind when you litter a beautiful place like this? And it is not your property. It is someone's property. Already you are trespassing in that place, you know? Why don't you just enjoy that place for a few minutes and then go back to your house? And if you have to chew something, you know, it costs nothing to pick up, you know, your trash and put it in the boot of your car, and then, you know, go and dispose it elsewhere. Why would you leave it in that very place? You know, I've been here for a few minutes. I'll show you some visuals that I've just recorded of people coming and just littering, you know, people eating something, drinking alcohol, just leaving those cans in that place. It leaves a very bad taste in the mouth for the owner of that place. Can you imagine if you own this beautiful place, right? It's a beautiful resource, a very beautiful place, you know? And Nairobi is so hectic, so noisy. This is a blessing to people. If people are able to come here and just relax for a few minutes, you know, escape the noise and the chaos, just for a few minutes. You know, even God is happy. And God is able to bless the owner of such a place because He's given people rest, even for a few minutes, you know. But you can imagine the disappointment, the anger, if you are the owner of this place and then you come and find that it has been littered by strangers and they don't care, they litter that place and, you know, they go and they don't care. Yeah, it's so bad. We can do better, man. Let's not litter these beautiful resources, man, so that we can keep enjoying them.
I never got it, why'd you have to go? I guess this world's too slow for you. I think there's beauty in the gray, the cold, but you just want the gold. And there's no way I can beat it, cause I got no chance when it comes to her. She got the glitter and the fame, and I just wasn't enough for you. I wish you could be happy, yeah, yeah. But I can't lie,
place. Eh. The air is so clean. You know, I see some ducks on the water. Very beautiful. Let us discuss the second stretch of the Kenyan road trip. In the beginning, I divided my Kenyan road trip, or those places that I wished to explore, into 3 stretches. So I've already done stretch 1 of the Kenyan road trip, and that was from Nairobi to Naivasha, Naivasha to Nakuru, Nakuru to Kericho, Kericho to Kisii, Kisii to Rusinga Island, Rusinga Island to Kisumu. And those videos are on the channel. Those of you that have watched those videos, there's a playlist I made called the Kenyan road trip that you can watch. Start from the very first video and watch it all the way through. I'm sure you will enjoy it. But now I mean to start the second stretch of the Kenyan road trip. And because the first stretch ended in Kisumu, the second stretch has to begin in Kisumu. So I think what I'll do is I'll drive down to Kisumu. I think I'll just make a video of that as well. We can use a different route. We can use the Nairobi Narok route. So then we drive down to Kisumu, and then we will do Kisumu to Kakamega, and then Kakamega to Kitale, Kitale to Eldoret, Eldoret to Nyahururu, Nyahururu to Nanyuki. I think we'll pass by Nyeri as well, and then Nanyuki to Meru, and then Meru to Embu. I'm very excited about it. Like I did in the first stretch of the Kenyan road trip, if you have an Airbnb, a hotel, a campsite in any of these towns that I'm going to visit, reach out to me. You know, once in a while I can take a break from sleeping in a tent. I'm also sure certain towns do not have good campsites or campsites at all. I never sort of plan my videos to the T. I sort of just go and figure it out along the way. So I'm sure that there are certain towns where I'll not be able to find campsites where I can, of course, unleash my equipment. So if I find Airbnbs in those places, well and good. There's a campsite in Embu that reached out to me and told me that if I get there, I should call them and that they'll host me. I hope the offer still stands. I'll give them a call and see if the offer still stands. There's a lady that also offered me an Airbnb in Nyeri. I think I'll call her and see if the offer still stands. A few weeks have passed. But also, if you have places in these other towns, an Airbnb, all these things, you can reach out to me and let me know. That will be the second stretch of the Kenyan road trip. Whoa, I'm excited to get back on the road. So excited. This week's freedom comment is by Brenda Kiprono. This is what she had to say. The simplicity of life. Sometimes the purest happiness comes from the little things, like buying a new electric kettle, enjoying a warm drink, or confidently singing "I am a man" at the top of your lungs in the bathroom. Life doesn't always have to be about grand achievements. Often, the most meaningful joy is found in these ordinary moments that make us smile, feel grateful, and appreciate how beautiful simple living can be. We are inspired by your stories. Thank you so much, Brenda Kiprono. Thank you so much. I appreciate that comment. All right. Oh, at this point, I think it's time to bring this video to a close. Thank you so much for watching. If you've watched from the beginning to this point, I'm so grateful. Be sure to leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Right? If you like the video, give it a big like. You know, share it with a friend or two. You know, and then I'll be seeing you on the road. I'm I'm really hoping that there's one thing I'm waiting for to fall in place. If it does, then I'll set off on the second stretch of the Kenyan road trip, and I'll see you guys on the road. Oh, my people. Oh my goodness. You know, keep hope alive, keep your wits about you. We are living in the age of deception. Try as much as possible to find joy in the little things. Yeah, let's keep trying to move forward. Let's keep trying to move forward. Alright guys, I'll talk to you. I'll be seeing you. Cheers.